Meet Anthony Edwards. He's been a fan favorite for a while now, but last season was the first time we saw that he's really him. He's the new sheriff in town. He's special. Before that, we had only seen flashes of Edwards' brilliance. He would attack the rim with tenacity, using his 6'4", 225-pound frame to power through his defenders. But it wasn't consistent. He would still have games where he looked lost. But last season, something changed. Edwards turned a corner. He became more consistent with his scoring and playmaking. He also started to develop a better understanding of the game. The Timberwolves still have Karl Anthony Towns as their franchise player, but the experiment hasn't been going well for quite some time now. Towns is a great talent, but he's also been injury-prone lately and soft. So, is it time for Edwards to take over the franchise?
Minnesota, you have been looking for a franchise guy since KG has left, and Anthony Edwards is that guy. You got to hold on to him for dear life. I don't care if you trade the rest of the roster. Make sure you hold on to Anthony Edwards.
Can he save Minnesota from its image of mediocrity? So in 2020, Edwards gets drafted first overall by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Timberwolves ain't exactly known for being a powerhouse in the NBA, but they're hoping that Edwards can be the one to turn things around. Well, to be fair, Edwards didn't disappoint in his rookie season. He averaged 19.3 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game. He had some standout moments, like scoring 48 points in a game against the Warriors, and rightfully earned his spot on the NBA All-Rookie First Team. But Edwards' rookie season wasn't without its challenges. He had some bad games, and he made some mistakes. His shooting was inconsistent with an accuracy similar to a stormtrooper, but that's to be expected from a rookie. The important thing is that he showed a lot of potential, and he gave the Timberwolves a reason to be excited about the future. Edwards is like a young Michael Jordan, but with better hair. This man is a straight-up hooper. In his second season, he put up averages of 21.3 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game, while shooting 44.8% from the field and 34% from three-point range. He was a key part of the Timberwolves' success, helping them win 46 games and make the playoffs. Now, Edwards is not without his flaws, but he's only 22 years old, and he's got a work ethic that's off the charts. So, if he can clean up his game a bit, he's got the potential to be one of the best players in the league. He is the future of this franchise after all. Now, let's talk a little bit about the player that Edwards is being compared to by scouts and media. Dwayne Wade was another legendary shooting guard who achieved a lot of success in the NBA. He's a player that a lot of scouts were comparing Edwards to. He was a 13-time All-Star, 3-time champion, and 2-time Olympic gold medalist. But what really stands out about Wade is his meteoric rise to stardom in his sophomore season. In his rookie year, Wade averaged 16.2 points, 4.5 assists, and 4.9 rebounds per game, shooting 46.5% from the field. Solid numbers, but not exactly eye-popping either. But then, something magical happened. In his sophomore season, Wade's production skyrocketed. He averaged 24.1 points, 6.8 assists, and 5.2 rebounds per game, shooting 47.8% from the field. Edwards got all the tools similar to Wade, the athleticism, the skill, and the killer instinct. Ant is entering his 4th NBA season, and he's already got a lot of miles on the odometer. He's played in 223 regular season games, 11 playoff games, and he even represented Team USA in the 2023 FIBA World Cup. At the World Cup, Edwards was very vocal about the team not having a Kobe Bryant type of talent. He said that he was ready to step up and be that guy, and he did. He led the team in scoring and was the clear leader of the team. He even earned the respect of Coach Steve Kerr and his teammates. So, what does all this mean for Edwards' 4th NBA season? It means that he's ready to compete at a high level. While Anthony Edwards has the potential to be a superstar, he's not the only young player gunning for a top 5 spot. Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic have already established themselves as elite players, but Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, Trae Young, and LaMelo Ball are all breathing down their necks. Ja Morant, known for his explosiveness and finishing ability, needs to improve his outside shooting and avoid off-court distractions if he wants to become one of the faces of the league. He's shown flashes of brilliance, but he needs to focus on his game. Just don't follow him on social media if you're looking for a positive role model. Zion Williamson is a physical freak of nature. He's got the strength and athleticism. Hell, he could probably bench press Shaq and Barkley at the same time, and he uses it to dominate in the paint. He's one of the better post scorers and finishers at the rim. But if he wants to reach the top ranks of NBA players, he needs to work on his outside shooting and improve his health. He's been plagued by injuries throughout his career, so it's a big if whether he can stay healthy enough to fulfill his potential. Trae Young is a sharpshooter with excellent passing and playmaking abilities. He's one of the most exciting offensive players in the league. But if he wants to become an elite NBA player, he needs to improve his defense. He's a liability on that end of the court. He makes James Harden look like Kawhi Leonard, and it's holding him back from reaching the next level. He's had some incredible playoff performances, but his defensive skills are still a major work in progress. LaMelo Ball is a big guard with incredible versatility. He can score, pass, and rebound, but he needs to work on consistency, health, and defense to reach the upper echelon of NBA talents. Like a box of chocolates, you'll never know what you're going to get. One day he's on fire, the next he's ice cold. Superstar NBA players are consistently great in all areas of the game and lead their teams to victory. Anthony Edwards, on the other hand, has the mentality of a superstar. This man is an assassin. He's confident, fearless, and competitive. He prioritizes winning above all else. He wants to be the best. This mindset sets him apart from these other guys. He's got that Mamba mentality. He's not afraid to take risks and always seeks to make an impact for his team. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been a laughingstock for a long time. They've had some talented players, but they've never been able to put it all together. This season, it's time to take the keys away from Karl Anthony Towns. He's a talented player, but he's not a franchise player. He's too soft, and he doesn't have the killer instinct. Cat's lack of aggression has been a major issue for the Timberwolves. He's too often content to float around the perimeter and jack up threes. And when he does get into the paint, he often gets bullied by bigger and stronger defenders. In the playoffs, Towns' lack of aggression has been even more evident. He pulls a disappearing act. As you can see, his stats always take a hit when it comes to playoff time, and he's never led the Timberwolves out of the first round. Ant-Man is ready to take the next step in his career and become the leader of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's coming off a FIBA World Cup tournament where he showed his improvements and his willingness to lead Team USA as they lacked an alpha dog on their team. Ant-Man has shown consistent growth all throughout his career, and there is no reason to believe that won't continue this upcoming season. He can score on all three levels, either with a hand in his face or uncontested. His assist numbers have also been increasing, and he's getting better at finding his teammates when they're open. Anyone who watched significant minutes from Ant last year would tell you how much his overall offensive game has come along. Anthony Edwards may have a tendency to turn the ball over, but that's not a big deal. Once he gets more comfortable, he'll be fine. And besides, his leadership and attitude are more than enough to make up for it. Also, he has already shown that he's not afraid to speak his mind. He has high expectations and said, after this year, I'm going to be in the best player conversation. That's some serious self-belief, and it's something that fans should admire. This guy is no Ben Simmons. He embraces the challenge, and if you ever try to criticize Edwards, be prepared for him to use it as motivation. When Steve Kerr criticized him during the draft, Edwards took it personally.
Before he came, I thought I was like working hard. And like when he came, I was going through the drills and he kept stopping them like, that's all you got, that's all you got. And I'm like, bruh, I'm going hard as you want me to go. Like, what you want me to do? I'm sweating crazy. He like, man, you got to see Steph and KD and Clay work out. And we went to dinner that night and they still was continuously telling me like, you didn't work hard enough. Like if we had the number one pick, we wouldn't take you.
He used it as fuel to become a better player. Anthony Edwards has shown incredible improvement on the defensive end of the court. He was never a liability, but he certainly wasn't a lockdown defender either. However, last year he proved that he is a legitimate two-way player. The Wolves paired Edwards with Rudy Gobert, a three-time Defensive Player of the Year, and Jaden McDaniels, a 22-year-old who has quickly become one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. This trio gives Minnesota one of the most imposing defenses in the NBA. Edwards put up the sixth most steals in the league last season, averaging 1.6 per game. When you combine his athleticism and strength with his newfound defensive prowess, he becomes a nightmare matchup for smaller guards. He's also proven that he can stay on the court, and even when he's banged up, he's not afraid to suit up and play.
If there's anything I could change about the league to make it better, probably just all the guys sitting resting. That's the only thing I probably don't like. Just play, man. If you 80%, you got to play. I don't like all the sitting, missing games and stuff. Like these people might have enough money to come to one game. You know what I'm saying?
Ant-Man has only played 11 playoff games in his young career, but he's already made a name for himself as a postseason performer. His playoff averages are nothing short of impressive: 28.1 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1.5 blocks per game, while shooting 47% from the field and 38% from three. In his first playoff series against the Grizzlies in 2022, Edwards put up a fight. Then in 2023, against the eventual NBA champs, the Nuggets, Edwards elevated his game even further. His playoff performances have been so impressive that even his opponents have taken notice. After the Nuggets defeated the Wolves in the finals, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope said that the Wolves were the hardest matchup we faced. Anthony Edwards is poised for another big step this season, assuming he stays healthy. Don't be surprised if you see his name in the MVP conversation this season. Did you know that 2 former NBA busts revived their careers? That's right. 2 players who were once labeled as busts have come back with a vengeance. Click the video on the screen to see how they turned their careers around.